Okay, so let's talk about some reasons why you want to develop a good front leg when you're trying to get better at point sparring instead of using your back leg. So if you think about when you first start martial arts, you learn like 3 basic kicks. You learn your front kick, your side kick, roundhouse kick. And in all those cases, at least in Tang Soo Do, what we start is you step back and the kick is thrown with your back leg, right? So front kick, thrown with your back leg, side kick, thrown with your back leg, and a roundhouse kick, thrown with your back leg. Now, for power generation, that's a much better technique because you're able to use your entire body in the movement to generate more power. With point sparring, the goal isn't to do damage to your opponent as much as it is to touch them before they can touch you. So it's, in many ways, it's like playing tag with your hands and feet, right? So we're going to talk about 4 different reasons why you really want to develop a front leg, why you want to kick with your front leg whenever you're attacking. The first of those is speed. So if I'll just pull this way, if my left leg is forward, right? Let's say my goal is to attack to throw a front kick at or to touch Bob in the midsection using my back leg. Look at everything that has to happen. So we're sitting there, we're sparring. For me to hit him with my back leg, because of the way I'm standing, there's no way for that to happen without squaring my body up. So the first thing that's got to happen if I decide to attack, then I've got to square my body and throw the kick, right? So there's 2 things. One, I got to square, throw the kick. Conversely, if we use our front leg, the only thing that happens is that leg just comes up. So if I'm sparring Bob and I start to hit with my front leg, the only thing that happens is the leg raises and strikes. So again, it's this, which is slower, and again, it's just a slower technique, versus this, right? The leg just comes up and strikes. So speed is a main reason for that. So you're allowed to hit your opponent much faster by focusing on using your front leg than your back leg. A second is telegraphing. So as you begin to spar better people, you'll be able to determine when a person, or get a sense of when a person is about to throw a technique. So when you are using your back leg, look at everything that moves. When I point spar, I don't look at the person's head or their legs or their hands really. I'm really looking at their hips, because that's wherever the hips go or where the body's moving, that tells you what's going to probably happen next. So from a telegraphing standpoint, if you're kicking with your back leg, if you're looking at my hips, the first thing that happens is my hips square, so I'm thinking, okay, this person's either going to throw a punch or a reverse punch, or they're going to kick at me, which gives me time to get out of the way or to jab them and counter, right? So from a telegraphing standpoint, kicking with your back leg gives up a lot more information to your opponent than using your front leg. When you use your front leg, the only information they have is that leg's coming up, and if you've timed it properly, there's not enough, they have no time to react. So again, as an example, if I'm kicking my back leg, Bob can see, oh, Ron has squared his hips, he's kicking, it gives him ample time to counter, jam me, or get out of the way. Versus if I'm using my front leg, right, it just comes up, and by the time he knows what's going on, the attack's already happened. So speed and telegraphing. A third reason is the ability to close distance. So in the 2 examples so far, when we talk about speed and telegraphing, I've already been within striking range, right? I can pick my foot up and I can touch Bob. Now what happens when I'm here, when I'm further away from him? When you're using your front leg, or your back leg, technically I guess you could square your hips, step up, and like lunge in and kick, but again, that's slow and your opponent's gonna see that. One of the best reasons to develop a strong front leg kick is you're able to do what's called a pulling kick. So the way that works is, as this leg comes up, your heel, the trailing heel, points towards your opponent, and you're able to use the momentum of your kicking leg to pull you in. So it looks something like this. At this point, I can't touch Bob. When I'm using a pulling kick technique, I'm able to pull this leg up, point my heel towards there, and close the distance. So we're sparring, I can't touch him at this point, I'm able to jump in and hit, okay? So one more time. We're back, there's no way I can touch him where I am. As my leg comes up, the momentum of pulling my leg up pulls me in towards him. So again, we're sparring, ice! Right, we're back again, and you notice that back heel points towards my target. So that's another reason. When you develop a good front leg, you're able to use that as a way to close distance. So speed, telegraphing, and then also as a method for closing distance whenever you are sparring an opponent. The 4th reason, attack surface. If you look at how I am, if say you were my opponent and I'm squared up against you, and you do what's called a T-frame block. So my hand is up, and this other hand is protecting my waist and belt area. The attack surface at that point is you getting a kick over my hand to touch my head or break the shoulder plane, or you striking here, right? Touching, coming towards hitting like the front of my body becomes more difficult. You have to like a roundhouse kick or somewhere to get around this guard, which can parry that. If we do a back leg kick, look what happens. So if I'm kicking at you and I'm in a good T-frame, I'm using my front leg, when I kick, I'm able to maintain this defensive position. If I use my back leg, look what happens. The first thing that has to happen if I'm kicking with my back leg is I have to score my hips. So right now, all you can hit me is here and here. Now, I'm gonna kick with my back leg. The first thing that happens, look what changes. All of this now becomes open. You can throw a punch, you can throw a kick, like everything you could hit before with a front leg kick now becomes, it comes fully exposed. So from an attack surface standpoint, we're here with our back leg, we turn, all this is open, and it gives my attacker a lot more, just more targets to hit. So it's something you want to avoid if at all possible. So again, to recap, the 4 reasons why you want to work on developing a front leg kick when you're doing point sparring. 1, speed, it's a lot faster, 2, telegraphing. It makes it much more difficult for your opponent. It gives them much less time to be able to tell what you're doing. 3rd, it's an amazing way to close distance. And then 4th, you're able to maintain that defensive position, that T-frame position, while you're still attacking. So you're being offensive, but you're also maintaining a position, a posture that makes it hard for them to hit you. So those are 4 good reasons. Hopefully you guys found this useful. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.